I changed my will after finding out my son planned to sell my farm to developers the day I die. My 68-year-old hands have worked this family farm for 5 decades. Yesterday, I overheard my only son telling his wife they'll sell my 200 acres to developers the minute mom's in the ground, per not knowing I was sitting on the porch swing just around the corner. This morning, I called my lawyer and changed everything. I inherited this farm from my father, who inherited it from his father before him. 4 generations of my family have worked this land in western Pennsylvania, weathering droughts, floods, and economic downturns. When my husband died 15 years ago, I kept it running with help from seasonal workers and sheer determination, not because it made financial sense since small farms rarely do anymore, but because this land is our legacy, our history carved into soil. My son David left for college and never moved back. He built a successful accounting practice in Philadelphia, married a wonderful woman, and gave me 2 beautiful grandchildren who visit 3 weeks each summer. I never pressured him to take over the farm, Pern. It's a hard life, Pern T, but I always believed he understood what this land means to our family. I've been transparent about my will for years. David would inherit the farm along with a modest life insurance policy to cover estate taxes. My only request was that he keep the land intact for at least 10 years, giving my grandchildren the chance to experience the farm as more than just childhood memories. After that, it would be his decision. He always nodded solemnly, saying, "Of course, Mom, the farm is our heritage." Yesterday, David and his wife Emma arrived for their monthly visit. While I was making lemonade in the kitchen, they sat on the far side of the wraparound porch, unaware that I had settled into the porch swing around the corner with my knitting. Langley Development called again, I heard David say. They've raised their offer to $7 million for the full 200 acres. They want to build a luxury housing community. When did they call? Emma asked. Last week I told them what I always tell them, Parrot, we're not the owners yet, but I have their number ready for the minute mom's in the ground. He laughed. Part actually laughed. They can break ground next day for all I care. What about her wishes? The 10-year thing? Emma sounded concerned. Just something to make her feel better. Nobody's going to enforce that, Parent. It's not even legally binding. Besides, who wants to pay property taxes on land that barely breaks even? I sat frozen, my knitting forgotten in my lap. The lemonade pitcher sweated on the kitchen counter as I listened to my son Parrot, my only child Parrot, discuss liquidating my life's work before my body would even be cold this morning while David and Emma slept in. I called Meredith, my lawyer in town. By noon, I had signed a new will with very different provisions. The farm will now go into a land conservation trust upon my death, with strict provisions against development for 75 years. A portion of my life insurance will establish a small foundation to maintain the property as a working educational farm where school children can learn about agriculture. David will receive my house in town and some investments, prepare approximately 1/5 of the total estate value. It's more than fair, but certainly not the windfall he was counting on. When they left this afternoon, I didn't mention what I'd overheard or the changes I'd made. David hugged me tightly at the door and said, as he always does, "Don't worry about anything, Mom. I'll take care of everything when the time comes." "I know you would," I replied, watching his car disappear down our long gravel driveway. "But now I've taken care of it myself. Some legacies aren't measured in dollars, some betrayals can't be forgiven, and some decisions once made reveal exactly who a person truly is, Parent, whether they're the betrayer or the betrayed."